Well, hi, and welcome to another update in our Michigan High School Boys Golfer of the Year contest. This award made possible because of the great people at Tour Edge Golf. See for yourself why over 150 PGA Tour players have chosen to play Tour Edge, the pound-for-pound leader in golf club innovation and performance. You can find out more at touredge.com. My name is Lorne Plant. Back with me, of course, as always, Michigan Golf Live's executive producer and host, Bill Hobson. Bill, we kind of just alluded to it before we got started here. Weather not where we want it, but we are back in the 60s this weekend. I guess we'll just take what we can get.
Let me just tip my hat to any of the athletes in whatever high school sports who are outdoors this spring. Yeah. If you have hung with it, if you have persevered, kudos to you, because it has been a miserable time to be outdoors for the most part. Hoping, as you said, that now as we get into May, we can turn the corner and enjoy some shorts, some short sleeves, and some springtime weather.
No doubt about it. Your words to God's ears. All right. First order of business is we're filling the slot that PJ Maybank left when we realized the outstanding defending Mr. Golf from Sheboygan is not competing in high school this season. So from Saginaw Heritage, Daniel Gladsky is entering the top 10. He actually reached out to us this season. He's averaging just 76.3 score. That is per round. Currently standing second in the Saginaw Valley League behind another Tour Edge Player of the Year candidate, Robert Burns. They actually went head-to-head recently, and Burns shot a 73, Daniel shot a 74. That was on Monday at the Flint Golf Club. And Daniel also won the Saginaw County Golf Tourney in the Swan Valley Invite last year, shot a 71 on both those rounds. So we want to just first off say congratulations to Daniel as we get the Saginaw area on the map in the contest, Bill.
For sure. And in fact, it was just a few days ago, I went out to practice at a course near where I live. I'm in the Great Lakes Bay region in the Saginaw area. Okay. And I looked across the putting green and I saw a familiar face because I used to help coach a high school golf team for like 7 years. And I thought, I think that guy coaches at Heritage, or at least he did. Went over and visited with him a bit. He asked what we were up to these days. And I mentioned to him this partnership with State Champs. We started talking and his eyes got kind of big and he said, I've got a kid that has to be on that list. He's got to be on the list. And I said, well, you need to have him reach out. And as you're seeing, Lorne, for this, the early stages of the first ever time that you've looked for the Golfer of the Year, it's starting to grow. It's starting to spread. Yeah. You're hearing more and more responses. And in this case, Mr. Gladkey reached out probably at the urging of his coach.
Yes, absolutely, and we encourage that. We've been getting a lot of people reaching out to us. I'm going to read some of the mailbag and some of the correspondence that we've got because we do encourage that and what keeps us in the loop and what's happening out there. I want to say one other thing about the Gladkey family, and I read this in a separate news story that I believe they have relatives in Ukraine. So we wish nothing but safety and security for Daniel's relatives and hopefully a quick resolution, obviously, to the terrible war that is going on there. So, kudos to Daniel and I believe his brother as they continue to, forge through just as everyone who is dealing with family that might be over in that part of the world. So, So anyway, congratulations, Daniel, and we've got you in the mix, and you should be finding yourself being able to vote for Mr. Gladkey here sometime over the weekend, if not early next week. Or before. So just want to throw that out there. Let's briefly talk about, Bill, one of the candidates this season already in our top 10. That's the defending Division IV top medalist from 2021. His name is Remy Stalcup. He is from Clarkston Everest Collegiate. He's just a junior, and he's going to be looking to defend this his crown this year, Bill.
Yeah, one of the things that Remy has really impressed me with was his sole dedication and focus on winning a state title. He came out and said last year, listen, I don't feel like I've accomplished my goals until I do that. And so at the Fortress Finals last year in 2021, he went out and he did it. He won the title by like 7 shots, if I remember correctly, and put up a pretty good round of 142, 2 rounds of 142, which is 2 under par, at a course that I call my home away from home. And I know how difficult the Fortress can be. So The young man can play, and he's also very low key. And I think one of the characteristics that we will see of the top golfers in our state is that they don't live on a wide roller coaster of emotions. At least they don't let them out. Maybe the insides are churning, but on the outside, they're pretty consistent, because in golf, for every up, there's a bunch of downs that usually follow pretty closely thereafter. So as I was reading the interview that Remy did with the local paper regarding his state championship, it was like, yeah, I just had, I played hard. I had a good day. I was grinding. I was trying my best, and I guess I finally reached my goal, kind of a thing. It wasn't a boisterous celebration, at least in print form or in that interview. I kind of like that low key approach. It reminds me of the Barry Sanders days, where you act like you've been there before. You hand the ball to the ref, or in this case, you sign your scorecard and you go get your medal. And that's what Remy did. Really, really talented player.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as far as voting in the contest, the Brother Rice faction has been bringing it, and it's all within the rules according to our webmaster. It's just so many votes, it's hard to calculate. At the time of this recording, Lorenzo Pinilli with nearly 13,000 votes in just a few short weeks, so he's got a faction out there voting. His teammate, Matt Baer, with nearly 10,000 votes. But all in all, through the first 3 weeks, we've had almost 24,000 votes so far, so we thank everybody for getting involved. I know, Bill, you've been promoting it on in your space as well, and it's just great stuff.
Well, the more attention we can bring to the sport, the better it is for everybody. Now, I'm hoping that the Brother Rice ballot box stuffing continues, but I'm hoping that some others get involved in it as well.
Yeah.
Because this entire state is filled with quality golfers. We spent the first couple of moments of this conversation talking about the new entrants from the Great Lakes Bay region. We've got to look up into the thumb. We've got to get up north. We're not going to forget about our Upper Peninsula friends. So if you are connected in some way, whether you're related or you've heard of or you just know somebody who's a really good golfer, get the news to them to submit, even if it's nominating themselves, like we had from Heritage. Whatever it takes, get yourself on the radar and into the discussion here for the top 10 finalists.
Yeah, absolutely. The leading vote getter can never be removed from the competition. Winner will be automatically in the Final Four with a 20% advantage to win the whole thing. But it just helps. We want to see the community supporting their kids, whether they're putting up thousands or just hundreds of votes. At the end of it all, it really does make a difference because we choose, according to our criteria, we're going to select the next three that are in the Final Four. So you may not be leading the vote or close to leading the vote, but it's important that you vote. So just remember that. You can vote for any one of our top 10 candidates by clicking on the Golfer of the Year banner on the homepage at statechampsnetwork.com. So, okay, want to get, before we finish here, get to the mailbag as we received some correspondence over the week about the competition. And the first email we got was from Tim Strickland. He's a PGA pro out of Ann Arbor. And he writes, thank you for putting this competition together, get these kids recognized for their accomplishments. He wanted to comment on PJ Maybank, and he said, there's a ton of great golfers in the state that have to juggle, through playing or not playing high school, and instead want to focus on, their preparation for college golf. And so, he has questions about how the MHSAA has laid out some of the rules because they're only limited to only 2 outside the high school matches. So to other states, it's different. And that's a different conversation to have. But it's always good important. It is. And it's always good to bring these kind of things up because the MHSAA has been known, and they're doing this in other sports, changing things up, more modernizing for the times, and we'll see, how that can progress over time. But he's a proud dad, and his son Mitchell has had an impressive resume over the years. So he's a Skyline golfer. So he was giving some of his cred out there. He's just a junior, and Lawan Jones is already in our competition in our top 10. And then also a gentleman by the name of, and Mitchell is on our just missed the cut list, so we did have him recognized. And another gentleman, I think it's Vibhab Alokam, who is, I believe, a sophomore. He's on our watch list. So we've got some Skyline representation there. And again, he ends just with, thank you for doing this for the kids and golfers. And like you said, that's what it's all about.
It is. And it is an important discussion, maybe some other time we can have, about the restrictions on the top players.
Yeah.
Because the best competition sometimes, not always, but sometimes is found outside of high school. And you could lose your eligibility to compete for your high school team if you overdo it on those other tournaments. I happen to agree with the email that you got that needs to be looked at.
All right, so I'm going to run through these last two real quick. Bart Chapman sent an email with some news clippings on Marshall golf, so got some love from Marshall, Michigan. Harrison Chapman earned top medalist shooting a 73 at the recent Tom Reynolds Invitational at the Marshall County Golf Club last Saturday. So the team took third, and then Bart sent some more results on how the team did on Tuesday. I'll read the clipping. The race for crowning the I-8 League champions completed another jamboree meet. The I-8 League teams compete in 4 9-hole rounds and one season-ending 18-hole round for the league title. Each team consists of 6 players, and 5 scores are counted for the event. And on April 26, Marshall hosted the second jamboree. The Red Hawks won that. Marshall finished with a team total of 160. Lumen Christie had a 168, and finishing in third was Penfield with a 173. Competing for the Hawks, Harrison Chapman fired a 1 under par 35. Colin McLean posted a 1 over par 37. Braden Gross carded a 42. Caleb Vincent shot 46. Nate Tucker had a 47, and Logan Murphy posted a 50. So, again, appreciate that information. You know, it's always fun to give some shout-outs to the kids. And, I mean, that's what it's all about. They want to get themselves in the top 10. And if you keep us updated on how, even if it is, you know, your son or your nephew or whomever, we want to hear about it, because that's how we're going to keep them on the radar.
Yeah, and I'll say it again, Lauren, I'm doubly impressed by those players that are keeping it somewhere around or maybe even a little bit under par in these conditions, because even if it isn't a cold, miserable, rainy day, the courses are generally wet and playing a little bit longer. Give this another 2 or 3 weeks of good weather, and I think we'll see the scores go even lower, because it just becomes a little easier to function outside. So I can't wait to see what happens as we get into May, and all of a sudden we're already building towards tournaments and conference finals and then the state finals.
That's right. So if you want to email me, you can do it very simply. The address is idea@statechampsnetwork.com. That's idea@statechampsnetwork.com. Any parting words, Bill?
Keep the mittens in the bag. Grab another ski cap. Better to over-prepare than under-prepare, as one who is perpetually cold. So layer up, you can peel it off, and warmer days are coming, guys. Hang in there. We're glad you're playing the game. I want this to go directly to the players who are watching this video. I'm glad you're playing the game. We want you to play it for the rest of your life.
That's right.
Don't be discouraged early. You've got a lot of time left this season, and for those of you who are underclassmen, you've got years to come of enjoying this game on behalf of your high school, and who knows, maybe you can play in some other tournaments as well.
Right on, and we want to thank Tour Edge Golf for making it happen. For Bill Hobson, I'm Lorne Plant. That's it for this week's update in our State Champs Michigan High School Boys Golfer of the Year race, presented by Tour Edge.